My name is Kinana ISSA. I am from Syria. I'm an activist, a journalist, and a writer. I also do script writing and work a bit in filmmaking. So that's who I am. Being a writer in my country, the best thing is similar to the worst thing somehow. Because the best thing, especially at such times, it just helps you to keep sane, basically. Because as a writer, you try to make sense of everything that's going on to, I don't know. And it helps because you can do that and actually be productive. You're not just like analyzing things and getting crazy by yourself. You're writing. But at the same time, when you really trying to explore things, you can't really do that when you have lots of red lines, if I may say so. So that makes writing as well a bit, can be a bit dangerous sometimes. Just because it is my country, everything is sort of best somehow. Really, because it's just like everything is familiar, you know everything, you know the sense, you know the people, I don't know, when you get into trouble, you know what door to knock. And even the bad things are part of your childhood memories, so they're good. Sometimes when I pass by an area that looks like Syria, even if it looks horrible, I think it's a beautiful thing, So it's hard to say because, yeah. It is hard to answer what drives you into writing because it just happens, basically. But if I will talk about myself right now, I have many motives to write. First of all, that I do have something to say, and I need to say it, and I want it to be said in an intriguing way. I don't want to say it directly. I'm not a politician. I have like a whole world to explore, and I want to invite people to think about these stuff, but not in an intellectual way. It's more of a human way. So this is something. And the second thing, because I don't think I have many things left in my life. This is when you cling on to what's left. And one of the few things left is basically my writing. So I think this is a very good drive for writing. The best thing about my writing, I cannot really be sure about this, but I'll tell you what I love about me writing. It helps me to analyze things without getting people bored, because I love to analyze things. I love to get into the depth of things. So I think that might reflect in the writing somehow, because I believe always writing reflects the character and how they think, basically, how the writer thinks. When it comes to reading, you read many good writers when you grow up, but I think the most effective ones, the ones you read when you are just a teenager and you're trying to explore life, basically. So while I was growing up, there were like those three writers I loved. I loved Milan Kundera a lot. I loved Herman Hesse. He was, some people might think this is a cliche, but actually I used to love him. And there's Abdulrahman Munif. He's an Arabic writer. I think these are the main three. And I will still enjoy reading them again, because you read them in a completely different eye, and you always take a look of yourself. You understand your influences when you read older stuff. There are many writers. I'm not sure who is like famous in the US and who is not. But as I mentioned before, I had like Abdulrahman Munif. He's a very good author. There's also Jabra Ibrahim Jabra. But if I want to talk about Syrians, especially the newer, let's say about the newer books, Maybe there's, for example, Samar Yazbek. She's a Syrian writer. She was involved in the whole civil protest movement, and she wrote a book, like in 2013, A Woman on Crossfire. I think it's a very good book because I can feel her, like as a woman, like living all these small details of daily life. I do love this book. There's the newest book of Khaled Khalifa. I think he was also with the IWP program. No Knives in This City's Kitchen. I think it's translated into English as well. And I would maybe recommend an essay written by a playwright. He's a very good friend of mine. The name is Inside the Inside. I think it's the first piece I've ever read that can really brings anyone closer to what it means to be a political prisoner in the Syrian intelligence prison cells. So I would totally recommend this one. The state and any state should be supporting literature and arts in general. And in which ways, I think that's a sort of a big question. I can narrow it down to fit me personally, perhaps. Maybe as a novelist, novelists need more time to write, basically. So having like longer periods for novelists, that would be a good idea. Of course, we need help in publishing and like getting translated and getting introduced to new audience, to, I don't know. There are many things that a writer needs. And also it's dependable on the genre you are focusing on, I think. It is my first time in the United States. I can't talk about the entire United because it's practically a continent, so maybe I'll talk about Iowa City. The first thing that really surprised me here, how friendly people are. They're friendly, they're chatty, they're just like, you can talk with anyone in the street, you find squirrels like running right next to you. Just very nice, especially for me, like Syria is like part of the Mediterranean culture. And we really love to chat and talk with people, you know. So I found that very relaxing, really. I can be totally myself here. That's very good. The other thing is about Iowa City that it's really a city of culture because you take taxi cab and the driver is just a PhD student, okay. Then maybe you just meet someone who's walking his dog on the street and I don't know, they might be like Pulitzer Prize winner, you never know. So I think this is nice as well.